I'm gonna show you my updated base routine. I haven't been on YouTube in like a while. I miss you guys. Finally got around to it. It's better late than never. But this is my base routine. My makeup has definitely evolved over the years. So I'm just gonna show you what I like to do with my makeup now. And just like little tips and tricks that I learned. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. First, before I start off doing like any base makeup or anything, I just put on a lip balm or lip mask or like a lip oil to nourish my lips before I get started. So today I'm going to be using the Glow Recipe Plump Hyaluronic Acid Gloss Balm. I love this. I also love my Fenty lip mask, but that's a little bit more of a thicker lip mask. This one's more light in the texture. So like when I put like lip gloss or like a lipstick or a lip liner over, I don't really struggle with the pigment not showing up because it's really nice and lightweight. For my sticky primer, I love the e.l.f. Sticky primers. I love the Niacinamide version, the watermelon version, the green one, like the regular one. I love all of them. But if you want something that's less sticky but still has that grip, the NYX Plump Right Back Primer is also a good primer. It is sticky, but it's not as sticky as the e.l.f. It dries down sticky when this is just like initially sticky. So if you like the texture of the e.l.f., go in and try the NYX because I like both equally. So for my sticky primer, that is my first primer. I just feel like sticky primers grip the makeup really well. My second primer, to smooth out any texture I have, e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Primer, liquid poreless putty primer. I love this. I love drugstore primers. I feel like there's no need to spend all this money on high-end primers where there's the drugstore. So I have a lot of texture on my chin and my forehead, so that's why I put it. I just smooth it out. Little hack for the oily skin girls: after you go in, set that primer with a loose powder, like the one size. That's just an example. Set that primer and it helps add an extra barrier for those oils, so it's kind of harder for your oils to like to your makeup. Like they don't come and disrupt your makeup as fast if you set your primer with a powder. Just a little hack I learned. Next, after I prime, I like to go in with a like something to boost or like give me like a nice little glow. I like the e.l.f. Flawless Filter or these Say Drops. I think they just mix the both of these. I like these both for different reasons. I like the e.l.f. because this adds like coverage. So if you like coverage and glowiness, try the e.l.f. While the Say is a little bit different, and the Say adds the glowiness but without like the coverage. See, it's just nice. It's nice and glowy, while the e.l.f. adds more coverage. So like it may look intimidating based off the color of the Say, but it just really does just add glow. It doesn't really add a whole bunch of coverage. So like my no makeup days where I just want to look glowy but I don't want to add any extra coverage, I do use the Say. I like the Say a lot. And then for the days I want a no makeup look with coverage, I just use the e.l.f. I like to blend my e.l.f. out with a brush because brushes keep that coverage and sponges are known to soak up everything. So when I want to keep the coverage of the e.l.f., I just go in with a brush. I don't ever like to put any product under my eye besides my concealer because the concealer is going to cover up that spot. So there's no need to put any like foundation or anything like under that because that's the concealer's job. So I like to brush on my foundation just to make sure that each area gets covered. I started doing this because I don't know if you kind of saw sometimes I put my foundation on that it looks like some places didn't get foundation. So I started just brushing it on and then blending it in to make sure that the areas I wanted to be covered were covered. After I go in with a brush, I go in with a sponge because brushes, like I said, keep that coverage and sponges absorb it. So after I go in with a brush, I go on top with a sponge to pick up any excess product that like isn't needed, just chilling and sitting there, and to further blend in my foundation. For bronzer today, we're going to be using the LYS bronzing stick. I have mine in the shade Strength. Some people like to just go straight on the face with this. I sometimes have to do that, but sometimes I just feel like going in on a brush. If you see that sometimes going straight in with a bronzer stick on the face, it's like harder to blend out, just go in with a brush. So I'm just like doo -doo -doo, and then putting it on top. As you can see, she is pigmented. I just went in with a sponge to further blend that bronzer out, looking nice. For blush, we are going to take, I gotta make sure this is the right one because these compacts basically look the same. Yeah, this is the LYS blush in the shade Empower. It is so beautiful and so underrated. People don't talk about this blush enough. It is so beautiful. I love this blush. I always just forget about it because of the fact that I have to keep it in my drawer. I don't get to keep it with like my other blushes because of the packaging. But like, they just recently came out with like a stick blush. I want to get that so bad. But this formula is good as well. I feel like people don't talk about it enough. I'm just going in with a nice little smaller, flatter brush and just adding that brush on top. Now I'm going to add concealer, the beauty concealer. I have mine in the shade. Wait, what is your shade? Peanut butter. Gonna add that right there. I have to put on my forehead and then on my chin just to even it out, because just having like this like bright under eye and that's your face being different colors is just weird in my opinion. I would go in with a brush for this set, but I just had to throw away my concealer brush because she was getting old. So I need to buy a new one. But usually I go with a brush and then a sponge. So the sponge still works in my opinion, but she just soaks that part straight up. She's like, oh, I'm thirsty. Okay. This is the side with under blushing, putting concealer last, and this is the side putting concealer first. As you can clearly see, this looks more seamless and coherent, and this kind of looks like it's just there. I'm gonna go back in with the same sponge I used for the concealer on this side and just try and get that side to look a little bit more blended out. Step one of like 1,000 powders. I'm kidding. Kind of. Going in with my Huda Beauty Easy Bake. I don't know the shade because I can't say that, but that's the shade. That's the shade. I go in with a powder puff. I love powder puffs. Where are you? I have a container full of you and you're missing. Here we are. I'm gonna use my Sephora collection powder puffs. These are so nice. They're $5 and they're gigantic. So if you don't want to buy the Beauty Blender one, get the Sephora one. In my opinion, these ones are better than the Beauty Blender ones anyways, because I have the Beauty Blender ones right here. And it's on the bottom of all my powder puffs because that's how much I don't use it. So, powder, I dump some of this in the cap. Okay, I'm going to dip into that powder. And then, see that? You're just going to press it on your hand, get that excess powder off. And then we're going to go in straight to the under eye. Oh, that's beautiful. This powder just, it does something to me. I just love powder so much. Like, she's my baby. I have to go in with a foundation powder. Now, I usually use a brush, but I'm going to try and use it with a powder puff and see how that goes. But I usually do use a brush. This is my Fenty foundation powder, by the way. She is clearly well loved. As you can see, she's dirty. So just take that powder. Girl, cooperate please. And press in. I can't tell if I like it or not, but I do usually use this with a brush, so anyway. Definitely need to trust the process. Next, I like to go with my bronzer. I'm using my NARS Laguna bronzer. This one is in the shade 07. I always like to set my creams or powders because powders on top of creams just last a lot longer. So I like to just go in, tap, 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 and then swirl. I like to tap it on first to make sure that cream is set underneath before doing the blending because I don't want it to look patchy. Juvia's Place Volume 1. Go with the shade on my Real Techniques blush brush. This blush is very pigmented, but I love blush, so I put this bad boy on. Step 2 of powders. Going back, I'm going in on my one size powder in the shade Sweet Honey. I'm just taking like a flat, kind of like rounded and then up like at the tip type of brush, kind of like flat but like still kind of like pointed. Dipping that brush into the powder, tapping off the excess, boo, boo, boo. And I'm using it as like a brightening powder. So just put that into the eye. Now I don't know if it's because I just love powder, but that looks brightening to me. Tap, tap, tap. Right back under the eye. Next I go in with a little bit of setting spray just to bring and melt in all those powders. This is the Milk one. I usually use the Morphe one, but I'm out. I need to go in a drugstore shopping haul because I am out of a whole bunch of my drugstore products, like my drugstore Holy Grail products, and it's upsetting. It's so upsetting. Just going lightly over that with a powder puff to press in. That's setting spray. Highlighter. This is the LYS one in the shade Fearless. I just take a little bit on a brush and then tippy the nose. My second highlighter, Rare Beauty highlighter in the shade Flaunt. Did you guys see the new powder blushes? Add to cart. Add to cart. And then a little bit. Second to last step for this base is my moles. I feel like my look isn't good with a mole. One time I went to school and I looked at my makeup in the mirror. I was like, why does my makeup look empty? And I was like, oh, I forgot my moles. So I put one on my lip, one on my cheek, on my forehead. Those are the top 3 places I put them. And then afterwards, if I'm going to add a little bit more, I just put them wherever I want. So you don't have to do this, but I just feel like my look isn't complete without a mole. Like, it's a necessity for me. I'm addicted. I am. I love me a little mole. I'm just gonna set the face. Holy Grail Elf, the setting spray, the green one. Makeup is sure she's not played with, she's not trifled with. And this is the final look. Obviously, we saw this in the beginning of the video. That's not the point. This is my base routine. I love her. I need a little bit more blush though. Like I said, blush is the best, and I stand by that. But I'm so happy to finally be back on YouTube and doing more long form videos. I've been wanting this for a while, but I'm getting around to it. So welcome you back with open arms. I know you all miss me, but if you want to see more short form videos, I do post on my TikTok a lot more often than I do on YouTube, but I'm trying to give them both equal love. But I see you guys in my next video. Bye, loves.